Welcome to the module on vocabulary, part 1, identifying words you need to understand. We will start with a word that I am sure you understand, dog. You could probably tell me a lot about dogs. They are four-legged mammals. They bark and growl. There are different breeds, and you could probably name some. You have likely had some experiences with dogs, good or bad. A researcher named Charles Perfetti developed a theory that the quality of word representation makes a difference in our ability to understand reading. I've used Perfetti's lexical quality hypothesis as a basis for developing a system for monitoring your own understanding of words in text that you read. I will ask you to rate words on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the strongest representation. So let's consider words that are level 5. Let's go back to dog. You could probably give a lecture on dog as a noun, as discussed. You would also know the difference between the animal called dog and the word dog that is used in this sentence. We are going to dog the other team. You probably didn't think that dog in this sentence meant that you planned to run up and lick the opposing team members' faces. When a word has a representation strength of 5, you thoroughly understand it. What about strength 4? There are some words that you do not understand quite as well as the word dog, but you have enough understanding to fully comprehend them as they are used in the context of your reading. Here's an example. Sue was not fond of extemporaneous speaking, yet her talk at the rally inspired all of her classmates. Imagine that when you read the example sentence, you could fully explain the meaning of the sentence. You might reword it to say something like this. Sue didn't like speaking off the cuff, or Sue didn't like speaking at a moment's notice, but she still gave a speech that inspired others at her school. In this case, you were able to understand the word extemporaneous well enough to comprehend and explain what it meant in the sentence in which it was used. This would mean that you had a level 4 understanding. What about 3? Here's a sentence to consider. Before Copernicus, a geocentric model was commonly assumed to be accurate. Do you know what geocentric means? You might be familiar with the root geo. It shows up in words like geography and geology. You might also recognize that the affix centric is like the word center. If you knew that geo meant Earth, you might have figured out that the word geocentric has to do with the Earth being at the center. Although, imagine, you hadn't heard this word before, you found clues that gave you an idea about the meaning. Before Copernicus, a geocentric model was commonly assumed to be accurate. There may be other clues that helped you with this word. Perhaps you knew who Copernicus was because you read about him in a science class. If you know enough about a word to have a clue about its meaning, your representation strength is at level 3. Level 2. It is also possible to know something about a word without being able to understand any meaning. You might have thought, geo sounds like geography. I think that studying maps is part of geography. This shows that you might have some good clues, but still be confused about a word or how it is used. This would be a level 2 understanding of the word geocentric. A level 1 representation simply means that this is the first time, as far as you're aware, that you have seen a word, you know nothing about it, and there are not good enough context clues for you to figure anything out. In order to understand a sentence, what strength level of understanding do you think that you need to have for most or all of the words in that sentence? Should your understanding be at level 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1? The answer is, to understand a sentence, you need to understand the words at level 4 or 5. Read the following sentence. The police chief denounced the mayor who had absconded with the incriminating documents. Rate your understanding of these words. Denounced, absconded, incriminating. If you rated each of these at a 4 or 5, then you should be able to explain this sentence using other words. The police chief denounced the mayor who had absconded with the incriminating documents. If, on the other hand, one of these words was at level 3 or below, you might not fully understand what the sentence communicates. So here's your assignment. Your course instructor has assigned a section of reading in which you will highlight any word that is not, in your understanding, at least at level 4. Make sure that you can explain any word that you do not highlight. Your instructor may give you a quiz on some of the harder words not highlighted. Think about this question for discussion in class. What should I do about words that I do not fully understand? Thank you for watching.